maybe you notice that if you have a glimpse of that deeper state, there is a kind of bittersweet taste to it. It includes life and it includes death. It includes light and dark, all the different contrasts are included in that deeper state that we can contact. And hopefully you do contact that, at least in glimpses when we have these programs. And even though that dynamic stillness or deepest self can be very challenging, of course, it is also so very, very rich and so all-inclusive. You know, it's a unified field that we are in touch with, the deepest part of ourselves. And it doesn't have to be any big mystical thing. It is just simply that we turn our attention inside and as much as we can take refuge in that deeper state. And there are many ways of taking refuge. If I have a very difficult day, I might have an extra piece of dark chocolate or two. It's okay. But, you know, if I allow myself to totally go on a binge and stuff myself with chocolate, then it's going to become a bit of a problem. And it's like that with everything else. I mean, Rudy used to, when he had a difficult day, especially in his earlier years when he first started practicing, he used to go out and buy himself a new shirt or a new pair of shoes to feel better. But, you know, if that became an obsession and you had to run out and buy yourself shoes and shirts every day, and some people certainly have that obsession, that's the main thing in life, that becomes a kind of false refuge. You know, if you take refuge too much in those things, then you're missing the real refuge, which is that deeper state. And you have to feel that yourself, that when you get out of your thought processes and really focus on this breathing and chakras and flow and really, you know, surrender into your deeper state, that it really does feel like you are taking refuge in a place where time doesn't exist. You know, you go from being somebody to being nobody. You go from being somewhere to being nowhere. You go from being sometime to being no time, etc. And it's a real state of being in touch with that infinite potential and the subtlest vibration that is flowing in that pure potential. It really is extremely gratifying and liberating. And the more we can go there and be in touch with that, the more we are free of the pain and tension and stress and illusion of what life is about. And I think it's important to not feel any guilt or negativity about the fact that we sometimes go maybe too far into these false refugees. It's also, I mean, not refugees, but ways of taking refuge, is what I meant to say. This is also a part of the oneness. We do have these tendencies and these things, and if we fail, we have to fail to really reach the deeper state, taking refuge there. We have to forgive ourselves and go on and really have compassion for all that we experience and learn from it. So it's not a way of saying some things are right and some things are wrong. We experiment with it until we really find that sense of deeper refuge in a way that works for us. And certainly the Buddhists, I don't consider myself a Buddhist, but I love Tibetan Buddhism particularly, and there are lots of parallels between that and the practice that we are doing. And Uli was doing, he certainly had a very close connection with Tibetan culture. And they very much talk about taking refuge in the three jewels. Now, one of those jewels is the Buddha, and the Buddha state. It's not the person, it's the state that we want to relate to. And that's identical to what we talk about as our deeper self. So really taking refuge in that experience is very important. And then the second jewel is the Dharma, the teaching itself, using the practice. And the third is the Sangha, which is a community. Now, you can think of the community as anyone, who is participating with us in some form or other in this practice and this way of working inside. It's a little bit difficult to get together physically with everyone we want to be with nowadays because of this virus and travel restrictions and so on. But certainly we can feel that connection through what we are doing here. And it's not necessary to have any super definitions of who's in the community and who is not, or anything like that. But we do need the support of other people who are practicing and with whom we can share this experience. So, when you find yourself sometimes maybe taking too much refuge in one of these patterns, of being angry, being sad, eating too much, drinking too much, taking all these directions that really don't lead to that deeper state, just notice that for yourself and consciously work at shifting your attention to this deeper state, through your breathing, through your chakras. And eventually, if you haven't already, have some significant experiences of that deeper state, which will support you and guide you